Hi, I am going to read a story, The Butterfly Buddies, from the book Stories for a Change. This book is dedicated to Monica, who inspired me to write. A sprawling, beautiful garden amid a big, bustling city is hard to find. Kenove Gardens was home to the world's most exotic birds and flowers. The city council maintained the park in a pristine condition, and the residents were proud of their heritage. There was, however, one pesky problem with the park. During summer, a lot of insects were brought as food for the birds. There were a few caterpillars that metamorphosed into pretty butterflies. Of these butterflies, 3 of them were very colorful and were flying all over the place. The beautiful butterfly trio, Liril, Cyril, and Beryl, were carefree, flew from flower to flower in search of nectar, and in time they became the part of the attraction in the park. They loved entertaining the crowds, and they were particularly attracted to the laughter of children. The kids would run behind the butterflies, and the 3 butterflies, somersaulting and flying in tandem, were a treat to their eyes. Among the regular visitors to the park were an elderly couple, Mr. and Mrs. Sanu. They would sit near on a bench and admire the quiet evening. They too were enamored by the butterflies, and Mrs. Sanu, with her favorite red shawl, especially had a twinkle in her eye when she chanced upon one of them behind her shoulder. But both of them seemed sad and would sit there holding hands without talking. Liril, the blue butterfly, was the naughtiest and curious of them all. She decided to test her luck and flew very close to Mrs. Sanu and just grazed her fingers. Liril was surprised to note that Mrs. Sanu was very fragile. She slowly sat on her fingers, and that brought the biggest smile on Mrs. Sanu's face. Mr. Sanu was happy to see his wife smiling, and he too started to smile. Liril flew away, glad to have brought a smile on the couple's faces. For the next few weeks, every evening, the couple would visit the park, sit on the same bench, holding hands. But now there was a difference. They would sit there, talking with a smile on their faces. Liril and Beryl, the brown butterfly, would fly close to them and flutter around them. Cyril, the yellow one, though a little cautious, knew that the couple would not harm them. Winter was slowly approaching, and all the other butterflies were migrating to the south. The trio were reluctant to leave the park and the couple. The next day, they eagerly waited for the couple to arrive. Unfortunately, the Sanus did not come that evening, nor a few weeks after that. It was getting colder and colder, and their wings were failing and they were shriveling. Liril was the saddest of them all, as she did not want to leave without a goodbye. The 3 butterflies decided to fly out of the park to look for the couple. They flew to the housing area, fluttering from one window to another. After a long search, Beryl was about to give up when he flitted to a small house near the river. He looked through the window and saw a lonely figure huddled near the fireplace. He moved closer and saw the face of Mr. Sanu, streaked with tears. He flew back to his friends and told them what he saw. Now the trio knew the reason why the couple were not visiting the park. They were sad to note that Mrs. Sanu had passed on. They did not know what to do. They had to migrate that night or they would die. They decided to stay one last night and help Mr. Sanu. Cyril, who was the quietest of the 3, crashed into the window and fell near the fireplace. The sudden gust of wind stirred Mr. Sanu from his grief. He was surprised to see the yellow butterfly near him. Curious to see if the other 2 butterflies were there, he walked towards the window and saw them perched on the ledge. Mr. Sanu slowly wrapped himself in his coat, picked up Mrs. Sanu's red shawl, locked the house and walked towards the park, and the trio fluttered behind him. He sat on the same bench and looked towards the sky, a tear glistening his cheek. The 3 butterflies flew around him in 3 circles and were getting ready to fly away. They then chanced upon a chrysalis in the crevices of an old log near the bench. They flapped their torn wings in excitement. They flew away with the knowledge that in a few weeks the chrysalis would grow into a beautiful red butterfly. They were eager to return in summer and meet their new buddy. They knew that Mr. Sanu will be there waiting for them on that bench. Don't grieve. Anything you lose will come around in another form.